Hello everybody. Again, we're back to Naturang Batas, ang likas na tama. So I've been told. I'm your host, Gemma Igatdula, and today we will be discussing that very interesting topic called contraception. Well, I don't think it's a topic that needs further introduction, but my guests, perhaps you would be interested to know about their backgrounds. To my left is Philip Salvosa, a very close friend of mine, a journalism instructor at the University of Santo Tomas, former editor of the Varsitarian, and a research head of the #1, perhaps the best newspaper in the Philippines, Business World, available at your various bookstores. Beside him is Isha De Vera, a runner, writer, and also a humanities student at the University of Asian Pacific. And then over at the far end would be si Raul Nidoy. He's a Director for Formation at the Parents Education Foundation.
That's right.
And also a theology professor at the University of Asian Pacific.
Yes.
Thank you for all coming here. And so let's get down to it. Raul, first question goes to you. Ba't magalit na galit ang simbahan sa sex?
Hindi. In fact, tuwang-tuwa ang simbahan sa sex. Baliktad, ha? Dahil ang sex ay isang bagay na divine. In fact, hindi lang simbahan nagsasabi yan because yan ang katotohanan ng sex. No? Para sa simbahan, para sa lahat ng tao na nag-iisip ng mabuti, nag-iisip ng tama, sabi mo nga, because sex is the source of the greatest thing on earth. That's a human being. The most glorious thing on earth, the most beautiful thing on earth, sex is the source of that. No?
And so how come if indeed sex is as good as you say in the church's eyes, so how come yung mga mahal nating mga kaibigan pare are not allowed to have sex?
Dahil ang sex ay nagtuturo. It is a sign, it's a language of what's happening at the heart of God. No? Divine nga siya, sabi ko no? Ayan ang pagbibigay ng kanilang sarili, no? Father to the Son, no? And then the Son to the Father, totally giving himself, no? Themselves. No? Ibig sabihin yung mga pare at yung mga nuns, no? What they have done is to look at the sign, no? Look at the sign and then jump over it. In fact, si Christopher West, ang sinasabi niya, they leapfrog no? Over the sign and they go to the very essence of God. No? That's self-giving. Yeah,
that's true. And also one other reasoning I read from somewhere. I think it was Scott Hahn. I think what the priest and the nuns did was that they looked at themselves and what is the one thing that they could offer up to God when they took up their vows. And I think the giving up or the gift of chastity or is I think what they were able to do as parang pinaka best gift that they could offer to God. Well, I think having said kasi it's really indivisible. When you talk about contraception, you have to talk about sex. So I think we have to get that portion out of the way. But when we're talking about contraception, I think, especially for Catholics, usually it boils down back to the fact that contraception daw, according to the pronouncements of the Catholic Church, specifically because of the various popes that we've had through the years, it's supposed to be some sort of a doctrine of the Church. Is that true? Is the prescription against contraception indeed a doctrine of the Catholic Church?
You're asking me?
Yes, Raul.
Okay. Yes, it was clearly stated in Humanae Vitae that contraception is evil. And then, in fact, even before that, there are 3 popes who have mentioned that. No? And then after Paul VI, so Humanae Vitae was written by Paul VI, John Paul II came up with an extensive catechesis explaining the Humanae Vitae, the teachings of Humanae Vitae, and it's fantastic teaching. In fact, it's one of the first things he tried to do, and it's called the theology of the body. And very clear ideas on why dividing or disuniting the procreative and the unitive aspect of sexuality is bad. In fact, he added something even it's like a novel idea, is he describes the lie. No? Sabi niya, yung ano daw, yung sex na may contraception, isa yang kasinungalingan. Dahil yung mag-asawa, binibigay nga nila yung sarili nila, supposedly with sex, no? Married sex, no? Conjugal sex, no? Pero tinatanggi nila yung isang parte na napaka-importante
Sa kanilang sarili.
sa kanilang sarili, sa kanilang pagbibigay ng kanilang sarili. At yun ang kanilang fertility. Na yun nga ang pinanggagalingan ng pinakamaganda, pinakamabuting bagay sa buong mundo, yung tao.
And also, as you were also alluding to earlier, I think turo din ng simbahan. And again, you are confirming the fact na doctrine na nga ito ng Catholic Church.
Totoo yan.
Na every time nagtatalik ang tao, essentially it has two meanings. Yung sinasabi procreative and the unitive aspect. And what happens tuloy is pag nagkaroon ng contraception, that unitive and procreative aspect is essentially separate from that. I think we'll go back to that later kasi it's a very complex and interesting topic, but it is right nonetheless. One thing I have to go back on is that, okay, fine. So, ito yung pronouncement ng ating Santo Papa, ng Pope. Although, tinatanong ng ibang kaibigan naman natin is, bakit hindi ba nagkakamali yung Pope? I mean, are we supposed to say na every time nagsalita ang Pope, he will always be 100% correct? And I think dito pumapasok pinag-uusapan nating papal infallibility.
Right.
What does that mean?
Okay, napaka-importante po nito, no? Kung tayo po ay Katoliko, dapat naniniwala tayo na ang Santo Papa ay ang representative ni Jesus sa balat ng lupa, no? At bakit naman natin pinaniniwalaan yun? Dahil sinabi po ni Jesus yun, no? Ikaw ay Pedro, ang ibig po sabihin niyan ay rock. Ano ba yung rock sa Tagalog?
Bato.
Bato. Bato na malaki, no? Malakas, no? Ayan ang saligan ng simbahan. Pinalitan pa nga niya yung pangalan niya, no? And whatever you bind on earth is bound in heaven. Si Jesus na po yung nagsasabi nun. Hindi po ang Papa nagsabi nun, si Jesus mismo ang nagsabi. Ibig sabihin, Diyos ang nagsabi nun. Dapat talaga nating paniwalaan ang Papa, specifically when he talks about faith and morals. At yung contraception po, ukol sa morals yan. Kung ano yung tama at kung ano ang mali, no?
Pero it doesn't really mean na lahat ng lumabas sa bibig ng Pope would be, kumbaga, tama. Kumbaga, sinasabi mo is, may mga specific instances na pag ginamit na yung power niya of infallibility, doon natin masasabi na na hindi pwede magkamali nga yung Santo Papa. Now, itong doctrine na ito ng contraception you were alluding to, Humanae Vitae, doon lang ba nagsimula itong doctrine ng Church? Kasi may mga nagsabi na pag tinignan mo naman yung Biblia, wala naman doon yung pagbawal sa contraception.
Hindi. Yung sa storya nga ni Onan, na pinagsabihan siya, itong asawa ng iyong kapatid, no? Dapat asawahin mo, no? At nung nagtalik na sila, hindi niya ginawa yon. At yan ang tawag na kasalanan na onanism. Nag-withdraw siya at tinapon niya ang kanyang seed, no? sa ground, no? Ayan ay kahit na si Luther pa nga, Luther yon, no? Sabi niya, napakasama naman yung ginawa nitong si Onan na yan, ha? It's a disgrace because he's going against nature, the procreative nature of sexuality. And then yung mga protestante, since 1930, nag-iba na sila. Pero sa totoo lang, since that time, no, from the very beginning of Christianity up to the present, no, it's been very consistent that the church, people who are following the Bible, and then people who speak for the church, like the fathers of the church, the popes, no, have been very consistent in saying contraception is bad.
So it's not true na through the years nagmo-modify ang pagtuturo ng simbahan tungkol sa contraception.
Hindi nagbago kahit kailanman.
Now, si Raul was alluding to earlier na I think more or less there was a unified or universal na pag-iisip na hindi maganda ang contraception. As you said, medyo nagbago lang sometime in the 1930s. Ng mga protestante medyo medyo kumambyo ng konti sa thinking nila. Now, there was this interesting thing what happened naman sa Catholic Church, and that was with regard to Vatican II. And I think there was this parang controversy na pinapalabas ng ibang tao na meron daw Pontifical Birth Control Commission na in-establish si St. Pius the
No, that's Paul the Sixth.
Paul the Sixth.
Yeah.
And then para daw yung majority opinion was that contraception or some pills should be actually allowed and hindi dapat ipagbawal. Then ang ginawa daw ng ating Pope at that time is that he disregarded the majority view. What is the true story there, Philip?
Yung Birth Control Commission was, let's get it out of the way. It's consultative, basically.
Correct.
Consultative meaning hindi siya binding.
Consultative. So the church works a different way. So
Yeah.
it's not like how the Senate or the House of Representatives work, in which the majority wins. It's tied to infallibility. So the problem was that the opinions or the papers written by these so-called majority and minority groups were leaked to certain press outlets. For example, in the UK, sa The Tablet, sa America, sa another publication in the US. Such that the people got the impression that the Pope was supposed to follow the majority opinion and not the minority opinion. Well, let's take the analysis further. The future Pope John Paul II, Karol Wojtyła, was supposed to be in the Papal Birth Control Commission, and he was against contraception. If he was in that commission, who knows what could have been the result of the voting. But in any case, as we all know, it's consultative. So the Pope makes the final decision. And in fact, if we read the text of Humanae Vitae, what does it say? It's very prophetic. Diba? Ang sabi niya, the fruits of contraception would be, number one would be the debasement of women. So what he said in when he released Humanae Vitae is becoming true today.
Yeah.
So prophetic yung Humanae Vitae.
Okay. Well, that's an interesting point, and I think na-establish natin na okay, fine, this is a consistent teaching of the Catholic Church that contraception is something immoral and it's something to be not used. Pero I think a lot of people have been saying, when you look at scientific facts daw, economic data and what have you, the church seems to be making a doctrine that is completely out of touch with reality. And I think that's something that we will discuss after the break, and hopefully you'll stay with us then. Thank you. Welcome back. Isha, I'd like to ask you this question. Okay, I mean, you're young, and I'm sure some of your friends have also probably brought this up. So when you look at the priest, diba? So, and then sabi, bawal daw contraception. Para bang, has it ever cropped up na, okay, fine, you're just a bunch of grumpy old single men. Ayaw mo lang kasi kami mag-enjoy. What do you say to that?
Well, first of all, let's think about it. The priests are there. They're advising us on certain doctrines of the Catholic Church. And personally, as a Catholic, of course, I stand by these rules. Kasi po, if you're a Catholic, obviously, do everything according. You have to have this fear of the Lord, talaga. But when it comes to this fun thing, okay, let's be honest. Obviously, this what they're doing is quote unquote fun, but what you derive from it is a certain pleasure. Na you can't take away from this what we have as body, the body of the human person. And when you engage in the sexual act, of course, there's pleasure derived from that. And sorry,
no, but the thing here is that you're a humanities student, right?
Yes.
And so, what would happen if the priests got their way and nagkaroon tayo ng and bawal nga talaga contraception?
Yes.
Then lahat na ng mga novels and literature sa Earth would now be boring kasi wala nang sex doon sa mga novels na yun eh. What do you say to that?
Well, the thing is, you have to clarify that this sex is really within marriage, because that's the proper place to put it, where you have a man and woman who want to give themselves to each other for love, and who want it as a total unity, indissoluble. You can't destroy it. It lasts forever, and one that is open to life. Meaning, if you have contraceptive, you won't be open to life at all, and that would be really unfair for the love that is at stake. And finally, of course, it's the procreation, having that life.
You know, there's a study, and they interviewed and surveyed people on how satisfying their sex life is. No? And they interviewed people who were married and those who were cohabiting, and those who were just single having fun, no? And those who had the most fun, those who had the most satisfying sex life were the married people.
Yeah.
Huh? So
I
that
saw that
means,
report as well.
huh?
I saw that report as well.
Yeah.
There's also one between the ones with the Germans and the Japanese. That's a different study.
Yeah, that
No,
is
but that's an
no,
interesting study.
Yeah,
how
but
you-
then, that is a reason because you were talking about natural law here. No, you mentioned naturang batas.
batas.
And naturang batas is all about reason. And if you can see that, I mean, if you analyze that, it's like that because once you use your reason, in terms of pleasure, and that's what the church does, no? Tells us use your reason when you're using pleasurable things, no? Then you enhance, in fact, the pleasure. In fact, yung mga tao nagpipig out, no? Kain sila ng kain, no? Madaming pagkain dyan. In fact, mas konti yung kasayahan nun than somebody who knows how to arrange the food, put the right combination of food together, no? Like the chefs, no? They think a lot about the food, but they are the ones who are exquisite in their enjoyment of the pleasure. Huh?
Kumbaga, kung hindi ka nag-pig out, afterwards, at least maganda pa pakiramdam mo.
Yeah,
Or
also,
something.
that's the other aspect. No?
That's
Yeah.
an interesting point. Philip, the other thing that sinasabi naman nila is that, okay, fine, diba? You have these doctrines, these nice reasonings against contraception, but let's say you have may isang, for example, family living as a squatter, 10 na yung anak, wala na ngang pera pang suporta ng kanilang pamilya, tapos nagmamahalan naman yung dalawang mag-asawa, you're telling, kumbaga sinasabi pa nila, well, wag pa rin kayo mag-contracept, di mag-anak pa rin kayo na mag-anak, saan naman kukunin yung pera? Paano yung pang-suporta? Is that really a responsible thing for the church to recommend to such type of families?
Hindi sinasabi ng simbahan na mag-anak na mag-anak eh.
Akala ko ba nakasulat sa Bible, go forth and multiply or so. Sinabi rin ni Pacquiao yun di ba?
Well, klaro sa Humanae Vitae na in fact, ang ginamit ngang salita ni Pope Paul VI is controlling eh. Salitang controlling. Galing sa salita ng Papa yun, controlling. So, ibig sabihin, pwedeng pigilin yung pag-aanak. Pero sa pamamagitan ng natural methods.
So what you're saying is that hindi sinasabi ng simbahan na mag-anak kayo na mag-anak. Ang sinasabi is magplano pa rin, pero not through contraception, pero kumbaga sa pagdisiplina sa sarili at ano. So ano ba pagkakaiba nga pala, if I may go to this na. So what's the difference na between NFP and contraception? Para bang hindi ba tayo parang nagloloko lang na tao na ganun din naman eh.
I'd like to emphasize na yung pagsabi mong NFP, that's cost-free. Walang bayad. So, ang problema, yung mga batas na sinusulong ngayon sa Kongreso, gagastos ng pera, taxpayers' money para bumili nitong mga artificial contraceptives. Pero, yung turo naman ng simbahan, mas maganda yata yung NFP kasi walang bayad, tapos palalakasin nito yung institusyon ng kasal, dahil hindi ka naman pwede mag-NFP kung wala kang asawa, di ba? So, at saka, sino ba ang ayaw na magkaroon ng disiplina yung mga tao, di ba?
You have anything to add?
Yeah. I think one of the differences is, of course, the first one thing that I mentioned earlier is about the lie. No? Yung contraceptive sex is a lie. No? Supposedly, binibigay nila yung sarili nila. No? Pero, hindi naman binibigay yung fertility. No? Pero yung sa NFP, there is what I call sincere self-giving. Binibigay mo yung sarili mo, whether you are fertile or infertile. Pero binibigay mo. No? Tsaka the other one, I think this is the key one, is there is in the contraceptive sex a willful prevention of the entry of new human beings. Yung sinasabi ko nga kanina, no? Immortal beings, spiritual beings, beings who are fantastic, no? Parang hinahadlangan mo yung pagpasok nila sa mundo deliberately. While yung NFP walang ganun. Dahil, okay, number one, nag-a-abstain siya. Wala siyang ginagawa dun sa sexual act, nag-a-abstain siya. Or, nagkakaroon ng sexual act during the time na infertile. So, wala, natural. Natural talaga yung pagka walang batang lalabas. No? Hindi yung naghahadlang ka na makapasok ang isang tao.
But the thing is, yung pag-stop yung pag-prohibit sa contraception doesn't really help yung economic plight ng mga pamilya nito. I think one of the criticisms nga that they gave the church is yaman-yaman na simbahan ba't di nyo lang ibenta yung property nyo para ibigay doon sa mga pamilya nito? What do you say to that? Anybody, if you want to answer?
Napaka-inane ng argument na yun.
Inane or insane? Sorry.
Inane.
Inane.
Yung sinasabi lang assets ng simbahan patrimonya ng Pilipinas yun So, hindi natin ibebenta yung patrimonya ng bansa kasi kayamanan natin yun Di ba? In the same way na we're not stopping people from, for example, ba't nanonood ka ng boxing? Or why are you holding parades for a boxing champion, for example? Or why are we celebrating the life of this hero? So, we don't question that. So, pero ito, patrimonya ng simbahan to Bakit? At saka hindi nila tinitingnan yung charitable works na ginagawa ng simbahan.
Which is a bit
diba?
substantial din.
Na hindi lang maingay ang simbahan kasi hindi mahilig mag-press release ang simbahan. Pero maraming mahihirap ang natutulungan ng simbahan. May mga hospital, bahay-ampunan, eskwelahan.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I think one of the reasons why the church has to be very active sa charitable works niya is, let's accept the fact, is that the government, which I think is the main institution dapat na nagbibigay ng charity and welfare do sa mga tao, sila mismo medyo sumasablay or kulang, as you say.
Also.
And that's why the church has to come up with that slack.
Yeah.
Okay, I think one of the other criticisms that they have is that, well, don't you think that women should have that right to be able to choose whether or not how they will use their bodies, whether or not they will give birth and stuff? And I think there's only one obvious person right now we can give the question to.
I think I'm a woman.
Well, what do you say to that? I mean, as a woman, don't you think it violates your right or something?
Well, to be really honest, I hate to admit it, but of course, as women, we're the ones who have the most to lose when it comes to the man and woman sexual act, because they're the ones who give their whole selves, because they know they're the ones who are going to be bearing the children. And obviously you want to be taken care of by your husband, and you want your family to nourish in this love. So I think that it would be so selfish for a woman to adhere to this contraceptive life, because it would be unfair to the person that they have.
But wouldn't it be better to have contraception rather than have a bunch of teenage girls there na, pregnant, without the capability to take care of these kids? And in fact, it might even force them to go for abortion. Siguro sa takot sa magulang nila.
But the thing is, as women, we have to take note na we have this dignity that is so precious that apparently our community, or rather our society, is oblivious, or they don't even have the grasp of it anymore, because they don't realize how important their role is in the family and in society.
Yeah, frankly, as a guy, I think guys would probably be very happy kasi nga they could now have sex with any woman they want, because of the fact of the consequences would simply not be there, I would believe.
Walang anak.
Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, but in fact, that is what has happened with the advent of contraception in the United States. No? So there is this study of George Akerlof, no? As a Nobel Prize winner. Nakita niya na pagka nagkaroon na ng contraception, wala nang sense of responsibility yung mga lalaki, no? Because they just go on binges, no? And then with that, he saw, no, that there were more single mothers, no?
Broken families,
fatherless children, and then also yung mga lalaki, since wala na silang asawa, undomesticated sila, ang daming mga puro gimmick, inuman, no? So nagkaroon na ngayon ng greater crime, more drug, greater crime, no? And then because of all of these things, more poverty. Yan ang nakita ni
That's an interesting point, kasi it's in relation to the question I want. It actually leads to more poverty rather than being a solution to poverty.
That is right.
Well, we'll have to take a break, and when we come back, we'll take up more of these issues. And also with regard to the fact that, and I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of hate email about this, the fact that actually contraception, aside from the fact that it's a bit harmful sa morals and sa restraints and virtues and whatever, actually contraception can probably even kill you. So it's something that contraception kills. But in any event, that's what we'll tackle when we come back.
Okay.
See you then. Well, thank you for being with us again. The topic is on contraception. Well, it's been an interesting topic so far. Now, Roel, we were talking earlier during the break. Apparently, contraception is a health hazard.
Oh, yes.
Why? Why is that?
Well, in many ways. First is for the woman, it's a great health hazard. If you're talking about the pill here, no?
Yes.
The pill. The pill, according to the International Agency for Research on Cancer, that's the IARC, they have
Under the
reiterated.
WHO.
They reiterated their findings of 2007 just recently. There were 21 scientists all over the world who met about this and then who released studies for 2 years, and they found that it is #1 carcinogenic. Ano ibig sabihin niyan? Yung lakas niya para magdulot ng cancer kasing lakas ng sigarilyo at ng asbestos. #1 'yon, pinakamataas. Kaya talagang pumapatay po 'yan ng mga babae. Hindi lang sa cancer at sa sa pamamagitan ng stroke at ng heart attacks. And that's naman according to the Stroke Journal. Again, this is the #1.
And I think we have to emphasize this
Yes.
to the viewers.
That's
These
right.
are scientific journals.
That's right.
This has no Catholic
Wala pong-
inclination or what have you. These
walang-
are
IARC is WHO World
okay.
Health Organization yan So,
Yes. Yes.
ang nagsabing level 1 carcinogenic ang contraceptive pills.
Yes.
That's interesting. Although veering, okay, so fine, it is a health hazard. Pero if we can veer a little bit lang in that direction, I know of certain women who justify the use of, for example, pills, not because, well, that's what they say, not because of the fact that they want to avoid getting pregnant, but apparently it helps daw yung skin nila and what have you.
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
would that be an immoral use of a contraceptive?
Well, in reality, it's true that there are some positive side effects of these pills, no? But then if you look at the negative side effect, because sinabi ko ito yung 3 side effects na sinabi ko kanina, no? Sa isang kaibigan na pro-RH. Sabi niya, oy, lahat naman ng pill merong side effect Pero sabi ko, of course, meron bang pill na yung 3 masasamang side effect meron? Hindi na siya nakasagot, di ba? Kasi kung cancer, stroke, heart attack, pinapatay mo yung sarili mo noon. Kasi yun ang pinakamalalakas. In fact, there are the 3 among the highest causes of mortality in the Philippines. So, dinadagdagan mo yung causes of mortality para sa Pilipinas. No?
Philip, just going back, but okay, fine. So it's a health hazard, and even if, for example, probably it may be moral na to use yung contraception if it's not used for purposes of preventing birth. Kunyari, for skin purposes nga raw, if that's true. But as you say, mali pa nga rin because of the fact na may health hazards na attached to it.
Yes.
But didn't the Pope actually recently in one of his books say, no, I think there are certain instances that we can allow the use of contraception. I think
about Light of the World.
Light of the World. Is that true? Na he did allow for certain instances when contraception could be or even specifically condoms could be used.
Nabasa natin itong libro ng Santo Papa, yung Light of the World, no? I think last year ba? 2 years ago.
Last year.
So, last year, Light of the World. Libro actually ito nung isang German na periodista, si Peter Seewald. So, in-interview niya ang Santo Papa over the course of so many days, and then i-published yung transcript ng interview sa isang libro. So, ang sinabi lang ng Santo Papa doon is that tinanong kasi siya about ano bang sagot ng simbahan sa sakit ng AIDS. So, ang sinabi lang ng Santo Papa doon na ang paggamit ng kondom ay maaaring isang hakbang para maisip mo na mali yung ginagawa mo. So, yun lang ang sinabi ng Santo Papa. Ngayon, ang daming naging interpretasyon ng sinabi ng Santo Papa na mali.
Yun, no.
So, marami pang dinidiscuss about lesser evil, principle of double effect, kung ano-ano. Pero walang ganung sinabi yung Santo Papa
Yeah, I just like to clarify
Walang
that.
ganon.
Kasi nga, some people argue na actually, in effect, ang ginawa ng Pope, ni Pope Benedict, is that parang inadopt niyo yung argument na if you cannot be good, be careful. Tama bang interpretasyon yun, ng remarks ng Pope?
Okay. In fact, examine ko yung text niya, no? The Pope said 3 times, no? Condoms are not the solution to AIDS. Almost the same phrases, no? 3 beses yon. Not. Tapos nga sabi nung inquirer, Pope says condom okay. So, mukhang bumaliktad yata, no? So klaro sa doktrina ng Iglesia at ng ating simbahan, ang ating Santo Papa, na hindi dapat gamitin ang condom para kalabanin ang AIDS, no? Ang sinasabi niya doon is, yun nga, sabi nga na isang hakbang yon. That means it's in the level of the intention, of the level of a sign, no? Na pwedeng sign yan na, okay, merong isang prostitute, gumagamit siya ng condom, no? Baka sign yan na, ay, ayaw kong masaktan ang mga aking kliyente, no? So, but that doesn't mean that tamang gawin yon. Yun yung sinasabi ng Papa.
Okay, fine. So, the Pope did not reverse himself sa contraception.
That's right.
But you're talking of just one Pope, di ba? Apparently, the rest of the world seems to allow contraceptive use. Even Italy, kung saan nakabase yung Vatican, is actually allowing or encouraging contraceptive use. So, parang, doesn't it say something na parang the rest of the world is saying it's okay, tapos tayo na lang Pilipinas yata nagsasabi na parang medyo nagtatalo pa tayo kung okay siya o hindi.
Yeah.
Does it tell, what do you say to that?
The truth is, whole societies can be miseducated. May mga taong naging isang buong lipunan, naging cannibal sila, no? Buong lipunan na okay sa kanila yung linking up in colleges, no? All sorts of sexual activities in the colleges. Okay sa kanila sa lipunan na yon. Okay lang ba lahat ng lipunan maging ganon? Hindi po. Ibig sabihin, kung meron pong maling doktrina ukol sa moral, at alam natin yon sa pamamagitan ng ating pag-iisip, dapat po ay salungatin natin yon, kalabanin natin yon. At dapat po tayo magpasalamat sa Pilipinas at tayo ay sumasalungat pa sa doktrina na ang contraception ay okay.
Okay, fine. It's a Catholic doctrine. Philip, if I could turn to you. So it's a Catholic doctrine. Sinasabi naman ng ibang tao, like for example, yung mga, probably the Protestants or some Muslims or what have you, they would probably say, why are you imposing yung belief nyo sa amin? Kung kayo naniniwala na ayaw nyo ng contraception, kami, payagan nyo kami maging happy-happy, di ba? What do you say to that?
Ang naging problema dito sa debate tungkol sa RH Bill, na una nilang na-frame yung debate. Sinasabi nila, ini-impose daw ang kagustuhan ng ilan sa nakararami. Ang katotohanan niyan, ang intensyon ng batas na, panukalang batas na yun, pondohan ng bilyon yung pagbili ng mga artificial contraceptives. Sa kadahilanan na kailangan daw bigyan ng choice yung mga tao. So, ang sa akin naman, kung sasabihin mong choice ang iyong goal, kapag pinakita mo sa tao yan, eto libre, eto natural family planning, mahirap gawin. Yung mahirap, ang pipiliin yung libre.
But I also think
pero bang totoong choice
yeah,
doon?
and I also think that's a strange argument to make. Kasi legal naman ang contraception ngayon Pwede kang pumunta ng drugstore, pwede kang bumili 1 kilong condoms kung gusto mo
sa
yata.
convenience store, marami.
I think ang difference lang is popondahan ng gobyerno. I think that leaves us also with the uncomfortable situation that, for example, if Katoliko ka, nagbabayad ka ng buwis, mangyayari tuloy yung buwis pa yung ginamit para pagsuporta do sa
isang bagay na labag sa paniniwala.
Mo.
Sila nga mag-i-impose sa mga Katoliko na nasa ospital, na nagtatrabaho sa ospital, na kailangan yung Katoliko na nagtatrabaho sa ospital magbigay ng kondom. So ngayon, sino nag-i-impose, no? Yun, sila nag-i-impose ng kanilang
which is interesting. Kumbaga, hindi actually ang Catholics na nag-i-impose, kumbaga actually iba ang ino-imposean yung mga Katoliko mismo.
No?
And I think going back to what you also said, Raul, yung pagkakaroon ng stroke, heart attack, ano pa ba yung cancer, I don't think namimili kung sino yung Katoliko o hindi. Right? It applies to you whether or not whatever you believe in.
Totoo
and I think that's the health hazard of
breast cancer.
Breast cancer, that is right.
But there's this interesting comment made by an interesting senator that, well, that apparently yung Catholic Church daw, and she was quoting several magisteriums, and I remember you writing me an email about this, na apparently the magisterium allows for your conscience, and that even for Catholics, if they believe in their own conscience that they are supposed to, that they want to use contraception, then they should be entitled indeed to use their contraception. I mean, is that correct? I mean, tama nga naman, di ba? Kung sa konsensya mo, gusto mong gumamit ng kondom, di dapat gumamit ka ng kondom.
Kaya yung isang tao, alam niya, ang kasinungalingan ay mali, pero nagsisinungaling pa rin siya, hindi naman sasabihin ng simbahan, dito ka, may ipreso kita dahil nagsisinungaling ka, di ba? Hindi, ng simbahan ay isang ina, So pinapayagan tayong mabubuhay ng ating sarili, no? At tinuturo sa atin kung ano yung mali. Dapat tayo magtrabaho, mag-aral, magrespeto ng ating mga magulang, no? Pero nasa iyo na yon kung gagawin mo yon o hindi.
What do you say?
Yung konsensya kasi inaabuso yung argumento ng konsensya yung konsensya, pag sinabi mong dikta ng konsensya mo, susundin mo, maaari kasi maging mali yung konsensya mo di ba? So may tinatawag na rightly formed conscience.
How is that rightly formed conscience done?
Sa akin kasi kung Katoliko ka, dapat pag-aralan mo yung turo ng simbahan hindi yung upo ka lang dun sa upuan sa linggo, may ikinig ka lang, tapos paglabas mo sa simbahan, hindi mo gusto yung mga naririnig mo, makagalit ka. Ito ang dinidikta mo ng konsensya mo, hindi ba? So,
which I think is right kasi parang lahat naman tayo, parang yung ability natin to justify yung gagawin nating kalokohan is actually malakas Like, as I keep saying, yung mga tao nagjejeta, madali lang mag-justify kung gusto nila kumain bigla ng chocolate cake kasi for them, I mean, then they would feel na tama yung decision na ginawa nila. Pero when you really look at it objectively, medyo iba rin yung dating ng decision Well, I think we're running out of time, but I just really want to ask one final point out of you, Raul. Some people are saying, or a lot of people are arguing, better to have contraception or allow contraception than to have unplanned teenage pregnancies or even allow for abortions. What do you say to that?
Early this year, January, there was a study that came out in a scientific magazine. It's Contraception, its name. In fact, the subtitle is Reproductive Health. Lumabas doon yung study sa Spain. They followed many people for many years. Ang pinakita nila doon, pagka nag-umpisa na po yung contraception, tumataas po yung number ng abortions. Ganun din po yung sinabi nung isang si Malcolm Potts. Siya yung #1 leader ng Planned Parenthood. Sabi niya, pagka dumagsa na yung contraception, hindi po bababa yung abortion. Tataas po yan. No? Ibig sabihin po, pagka meron ng contraceptive mentality, yung sinasabi ko po kanina na hinahadlangan nila yung pagpasok ng bagong tao, when in fact sex is intrinsically linked with new human beings, pagka hinahadlangan mo yung pagpasok ng isang tao, pagka nagkatao na po yung babae, madali na po niyang patayin. Kasi gusto niya po talagang hadlangan ang pagpasok ng tao na yun.
And I think it's also an indication na because nga contraception gives that illusion or thinking na kaya na nilang gawin kung anong gusto nilang gawin, which is actually not true. And then nangyayari tuloy yung consequences that actually we were talking about, which is nag-i-increase nga yung unplanned pregnancies, and at the same time nag-i-increase din yung abortion rate.
Kasi natural talaga na immoral yung contraception.
And it's I've always found it interesting, and I think this will be found out in further episodes in the future. The Catholic Church has always been very counterintuitive. Sasabihin ng the rest of the world kailangan ganito, tapos yung church babarat ang baliktad. And then always it has been proved, sooner or later the church will have always been proved correct.
Correct, yes.
I think we'll have to end it there. It's been a very interesting topic. I just want to say one thing. Interestingly enough, as Raul was saying, there have been already enough of scientific, perhaps economic data, and population studies as well that have shown that contraception does not really benefit society. Interestingly, in this debate, it's the church that has been using scientific information, and it's actually the pro-RH group that has been very, very much averse to scientific facts and medical science.
Well, they try to use scientific facts, but then they quote government agencies or World Health Organization or UN that are political, not scientific.
That would stand to benefit perhaps from the funding that would give rise to this contraceptive society that they want to espouse.
That is right.
Perhaps I'll just leave final words from you guys, starting first with Raul, if you have anything to add.
Ito po ang sinasabi ko parati sa mga tao nung nag-umpisa po akong lumaban against the contraception. Ang contraception po ay pumapatay ng bata. Abortifacient po yung pill. Pumapatay ng mga babae dahil sa cancerous, nagbibigay ng stroke, heart attack, at pumapatay ng kaluluwa ng bansa. Dahil ito ay isang bagay, isang gawaing immoral. Isa pong katangi-tanging kasinungalingan. Ito ay paghahadlang ng pagdating ng pinaka-importanting bagay sa buong mundo, yan ay isang tao.
Okay. Isha, you have?
As for women, speaking as a woman, let's face it, contraceptives, what does it say about us that we don't have self-control, that we have no responsibility over our own bodies and what we think about pleasure? Let's just face it to pure love that we want to espouse in our own society, in our own family, and to the future generations.
Thank you. Philip?
Sa akin naman, bilang mga Katoliko, duty natin yun na pag-aralan kung ano yung sinasabi ng simbahan eh. Yung simbahan naman eh, nandyan naman yan para magbigay ng gabay. Ngayon, hindi man natin gusto ang naririnig natin, kasama to dun sa paglalakbay natin bilang mga Kristiyano eh. So, dapat tayong mga Pilipinong Kristiyano, bukas ang isip natin dun sa sinasabi ng simbahan at maging critical naman tayo dun sa mga gustong mangyari ng iba. Ang problema kasi dito sa debate tungkol sa RHB, lahat ng kritisismo napupuko lang sa isang side. Samantalang yung kabilang side ay totally immune to criticism.
Yeah.
Yun.
Well, thank you. Actually, from your remark, it reminded me of this one comment of Bishop Charles Chaput. It's one of my favorite comments of his. I mean, through the years, guys, we keep saying the church has always been proven right, and this once led Charles Chaput to say, I mean, what do you do if your opinion is against the Catholic Church? Then what you do is you change your mind, which is, I think, it's a pretty good advice. Well, again, thank you to all the guests. I hope that has been instructive to you as well, the viewers. We'll be coming back for another episode, and this time it will be on the youth. What are they thinking? What do they want? Is it even possible to understand them? Well, that will be interesting. Hope to see you then. Thank you very much.